Well, I got to say, the nation's at a real crossroads right now, and it's not just the portion of the issue that Hillary Clinton's going might be elected to the presidency, or even the fact that she's gotten this far. It's problem is actually there's that many voters out there still supporting her, and actually I realize that they are people over 45 that are Democrats. Not the younger people are generally not supporting her. The people in the 20s that are Democrats, they're voting for Bernie, and they'll switch to Trump if Bernie doesn't win. But be that as it may, I'd like to make a little bit of a tribute to the Vietnam veterans because they are of that generation, and I don't think many of those are supporting Hillary Clinton. So here we have a Zippo lighter and Vietnam, 1968 to 1971 when they were in. Let me let me win your hearts and mind, or I'll burn your damn hut down. I can tell you one thing. When my cousin came back from Vietnam, he was a M60 machine gunner, and when he got off the plane, some female got in his face, and she was saying, "Baby killer, baby killer, baby killer." Well, you know what he did? He decked her right there with a good right hook, and she hit the ground. Ah. So, that was the end of that shit. So, too bad it wasn't Hillary herself. But anyway, I know how things have been going recently with the fiat money. People have been looking at this dollar. It's still staying pretty strong. It's not, the dollar has not collapsed over the last few years. But I have to tell you this, that things can change so rapidly because of the way we're tied in with the markets electronically. Everything is electronic. You're listening to me right now electronically, but it's like all our commerce is electronic. Our grid is electronic. It's been a well-known fact that even the military's got a lot of hard chips inside their planes, like even the venerable C-130 cargo plane that you think, pretty much can fly through anything. It's got a lot of components in it made in China, and including in our aircraft carriers, including most of our military hardware. They think there's a lot of backdoor problems with security, right, engineered right into the hardware from China, not only in the military but also in our financial system. Now, since Hillary Clinton has left it wide open with her email server and all the Office of Personnel Management records have been hacked, let me put it this way: that puts the dollar at danger right there. Forget about the debt. If you could forget about it, you're not going to forget about it. Forget about the trade imbalances, but the fact that the Chinese are really good at cybersecurity, cyber hacking and cyber warfare. If they ever get the upper hand on this, which I think they already have, it's just a matter of they're waiting for the right moment to strike, the whole financial system could implode overnight. Is that fear mongering? Sorry, it's not fear mongering. I'm not worried about it because I take little preparations here and there, Not only do I buy silver, but I buy S-wing axes and things like that for, the zombie apocalypse, whatever's going to happen. But, when Hillary gets in office, if she does, I don't want to say when, but, it's a catch-22 because if Trump gets in office, say, for instance, it looks like Trump versus Hillary. If Trump gets in office, the powers that be will pull a plug and, crash the entire economy and blame it on him, right? So it's a lose-lose situation. But I always look at it like this, what are the people in government doing? It's almost like in North Korea. I'm with stupid. And I don't know what the hell the people in government are actually thinking. They must not really be like working around this lady. And hopefully that people are going to set her up. But anyway, be that as it may, I just want to tell you that there's been a lot more signs of cracking in the economy. Like, in other words, I know we've been talking about the retail sector for a long time. Actually, too low oil prices is a sign that there's a problem in the economy. That means there's not enough activity going on, as also evidenced by the Baltic Dry Index, which I mentioned before, and also the railroads are very slow, and there's been a lot of railroad conductors laid off. Bank of America has laid off a lot of people, and IBM is laying off more people too, with cutting their severance pay. So, but I have to tell you, silver's not the only investment. I know the wealthy are actually into, I'm talking like $50 million or more, whatever. Now, those are people I've actually known and worked directly for. Okay? Those are people like that I've known and worked directly for in the past. I don't do that now, but I don't want to say that makes me some kind of insider or whatever it is, but they worry about stuff, but they're very aggressive. But typically, what they do is they invest in high end real estate, even special types of furniture, wine, jewelry, and even coins, but not the bullion coins. Not typically bullion, usually like high end collector coins that could fetch a real value. But they are actually caught up in a trap because the only way these assets that they're investing in are going up is because the funny money is being pumped into their hands one way or the other. Now maybe not the 30 to 50 million, but more like the several hundred million. Because I can tell you, I don't see how it gets into the people's hands that are even like $100 million. They might have sweetheart deals, but it doesn't come directly from the freaking Federal Reserve. I can know that. Um, but there's other people that money does come into their hands, but they actually have a problem because they have asset inflation in the things that they are investing in, and there's absolutely no exit strategy out of that. Just like the Federal Reserve has no exit strategy on how to unwind its balance sheet, because there's a lot of garbage on its balance sheet. Like they bought up a lot of these bad loans that the banks made and everything like that, the mortgages to shore up the bailouts. That's what they did, right? Well, what's going to happen? They can never unwind their balance sheet. And actually, this actually happens with the ultra wealthy, because you might look at some rare wine and say, "Yeah, give me a swig of it." You know what I mean? To you, it's worth $5. To them, it's worth $10,000, right? But they can only sell it to one of their other kind. So really, what is it worth? Actually, they've kind of painted themselves in a corner in a lot of ways. So don't worry too much about the elite. If actually I was making an investment, I'd probably invest in one of these two-wheel drive Euro motorcycles, which is a pretty handy freaking bit of transportation out there that you can pretty much go anywhere you want with great simplicity. And also, I have to tell you that a lot of times it's also hooked into this conspiracy of the government and the wealthy and all this type of stuff. It's also religion. Now, this is my church, actually, right here. Reserved Harley parking only, and XXXX. That's my church. People, but actually, when you're looking at a lot of things that are going on with structured religion, it's also part of the conspiracy. I don't give a damn what structured religion it is. That's all part of a conspiracy to control people. And I will also want to talk a little bit more about conspiracy because there's been something else that came up I found to be very interesting. Now, I do know that the oil market has been rigged for a long period of time, going along with all the commodity markets, gold, silver, the metals, and the whole nine yards. There's been ongoing litigation for the last 15 years, including being brought by the former head of the New York Mercantile Exchange. Well, something else came up, and it reminded me of that reporter that had a similar death. It was Aubrey McClendon. He's the former Chesapeake Energy CEO. He died in a single car crash. He actually was going at very high speed, and he crashed right into a bridge. He was driving a late model SUV. You know how late model SUVs are. They're all computer controlled, maybe even throttle by wire and all that kind of garbage. I don't know what was in the vehicle itself. What brand of SUV. It could have been a Mercedes or something, considering he was the CEO. But he was charged with conspiracy. Now, I was talking about, this is a different type of conspiracy. He was charged by conspiracy by the government to fix the leasing prices of the oil and gas industry. And what I figured from that is when the government charges you or indicts you with a conspiracy, it's like they got nothing on you, but what they want to do is they want to get you to talk about other people. In other words, conspiracy is not really it's a bullshit charge, right? They're trying to get you to talk about other people. Now, here, the day after this happens, he's driving high speed right into the side of a bridge, which is kind of unlikely because even most bridges have this protective barriers where you can't go directly into the side of the bridge. In other words, it was like a perfect shot, and he died instantly. So obviously, I think the government was looking for some kind of witness from him, or him to rat out other people in the industry about um, bids for oil and natural gas leases that were being rigged. So it tells me, you know, the tip of the iceberg is, we don't even know the tip of the iceberg. But we do know there's a lot of garbage going on in the industry. Not only the silver industry, which is not, it's pretty tiny and pretty small, and the gold industry, but all across the commodities across the board. I think actually oil is going to go right through the freaking roof when silver goes through the roof. They pretty much, when that's really when you know, if you really look back, when silver really took off a lot, oil was really high. So we're going to be on extremely tough times when that happens. Now, also, just want to remember that here's another Vietnam veteran, Fox from Fox Company. When I die, bury me face down so the whole world can kiss my ass. That's exactly how I think of all this bullshit. You know, to hell with the freaking garbage. People are, you know, I look at it, you know, they say, oh, we're not a free country anymore. I'm like, yeah, go screw you. You know, that's how I look at it. You know, I do my own thing, and I don't really give a damn. And I'm going to run just like with the Royal Enfield over here. You know what I mean? People are too worried about the stupid bullshit. And, you know, if you look back, you know, the only people that are free are, you know, if you want to be free, you can be free. If you don't want to be free, you know, of course, you don't like blatantly freaking run up to the king in the castle and tell him you're screwed up, you know. But there's a lot of ways you can you know, work your way through the system without actually being part of the system. A lot of ways, you know. So it's like this. It's an old adage, you know. Nothing's wrong with this world. Something's wrong with the humans. And that's the reality of the situation. You know, like I think, I don't know if it was Mark Twain said this, but like a squirrel. You know, a squirrel gathers acorns in the wintertime. They don't have like a rich fat cat squirrel gather all the acorns from everywhere from every tree, and it become the squirrel multi-billionaire, multi-billion acornaire, and every other squirrel starves to death. The animals don't do that. Only humans do that kind of shit, you know? So nothing's really wrong with this world. Something's wrong with the humans, man. So, and here's your government right here. Put your throat here. I'm here to protect you, right? With the hearts. If you go do that, you're stupid. That's all I'm going to tell you. You're stupid. You know, a lot of people think there's no way around things. There's plenty of ways around things. I can't put that stuff out on YouTube, okay? There's loads of ways around things. Everything is a way around things. But, you know, I put the simple stuff out, you know? How you can freaking chop wood or something, man. That'll be something else I'll be doing. And you could write to your congressman like this gold girl's writing to the congressman, F you know? But that's not going to help, you know? But you could say that me as a, you know, underling, as your serf peasant, this is what I think of your shit. Fuck you. Anyway, so, but, you know, most people don't care, man. They're just going to be smoking, sitting back on their motorcycle and not bother about the bullshit. Um, but there is a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and actually, I look at it like this. You know, when I look at the election, for instance, you got Trump and you got Hillary, right? I mean, Trump, I guess, you know, one thing I have to figure, he is nationalistic. That's one thing he's been consistent on. I know the thing with the wall over Mexico, the Mexicans always built tunnels, man. They don't even fucking bother with fucking walls, man. They built tunnels, man. What are you kidding me? They got tunnels all over the place. You know, but, yeah, I guess, whatever, man. You know, but, tunnels, boats. They got boats, man. You know, what do you do? Build a wall right in the middle of Rio Grande, whatever. I don't know, something. But you know, they could stop illegals from coming over anytime. But you know, that's like one of those things he just says for political points. Um, but you know, I look at it. Yeah, I'm going to vote because anybody's not Hillary, I'll vote for. You know, that's what I look at it. But I look at it like this: this nation's so screwed up that even that we got that many people still hooked in with these Clintons. I'm like, man, at least Jeb Bush got rejected, but what about the freaking Clintons? What about the Clintons? So I look at it like it's less of a problem with the candidate than with the freaking people. And, if the candidate loses, you still got these idiots. That's the problem right there. What the hell's the matter with these people, man? I mean, I'm not gonna say somebody else, everybody, all these other candidates are saints and the one's bad, but there's one out there that really stands out that's extremely bad is Hillary. And anybody that's for her, I think they're screwed up. Usually they're the over 45 Democrats, the baby boomers, but they're not the people that served in Vietnam for the most part. For the most part. So I want to make that clear and honor those veterans in this video. So, but anyway, so you have your black cats. Fuck communism. That's your trusty Zippo lighter. That's a good thing to get too. If you can't even get 1 ounce of silver right now, get yourself a windproof Zippo lighter. You can't go wrong, man. Whatever, you can always, if they don't, if you can't get it to their hearts and minds, you can always burn their hut down, as the guy said in the freaking first thing. But don't do that. Just kidding. Anyway, but the situation's been the same. Like this is back 1935 during the Depression, actually, right here. And if you really work hard, you're still going to get everything you need. The problem is nobody wants to work anymore, and actually one of the things that people are going to have to start doing is a lot more gardening and farming, and nobody's doing that shit anymore. Like I was just out there not gardening and farming. I was putting some door glass on the side of the door of my El Camino. I'll be getting ready to. I'll get that down there with the air file tomorrow. But I'm busy doing things all the time, and I'm actually looking at where I'm spending my money. I'm looking at it with an eye of, say, all electronic stuff gets shut off. You know what I mean? What happens? What do you do? I know what they say, and if that would be 90% of the population would die in a matter of months. Not me, because I got. Oh, I shouldn't say, because I put a video out. Don't tell. Keep your mouth shut about prepping. But I won't have a problem. You know what I mean? I won't have a problem. So, anyway. But let me just tell you this, though. It's going to be a matter of not just silver, but anything you can barter. And, I tell you, Hillary's so bad. I mean, the North Korean dictator probably looks better than her, man. That's how bad she is. Anyway, so just want to say though, for the most part, Hillary's still. I'm kind of getting political on here, but you know what? That ain't political because this broad is so bad, it's like ridiculous. But I know where most of her support comes from. Besides, well, yeah, women. Some women. Well, I don't know if women are actually for her. Some women are. But it really is the older people, man. The older the older my generation from the baby boomers. But I'm not never been for her. Man, I knew about the Clintons way back when. But I have to tell you though, all the baby boomers aren't like for her. That's for sure. But let me just tell you that do not just invest in silver. You should be investing in a lot of different things you might need, like tools, ways to stoves. I don't know, stoves, way to cut wood. I don't know anything like that. Tools like that can maybe make lumber with an Alaskan chainsaw, whatever. Right? You cut down a tree, you can make lumber with it, provided you got full fuel. Maybe tools that don't require fuel, hand drills, things like that, because when a situation goes down all the way, the one main problem is going to be food. But if you have food and you have water and you actually have some kind of sanitation, whatever, like with a septic tank or whatever, that's instead of a sewage system, and you can actually have some solar panels and whatever for permanent electricity here and there, you're probably going to be okay for quite some time. The only problem then you're going to have is how do you fix, repair, and create things, and you're going to need a lot more tools and things, and you also need a lot of stuff to protect yourself with. The silver, like I tell you right now, I'm looking at it like this. The situation is getting so grave right now because I realize that there's two choices coming up. Um, Hillary is going to win or Trump's going to win. That's what it looks like right now. If Hillary wins, we're going, in a way that might even be better because the people that put her in office are going to get shafted by her. But if Trump wins, the people that control the markets, they're gonna crash everything, make them try to look bad. They're gonna do everything they possibly can to freaking screw up his administration. So it's a lose-lose situation. So the way you're gonna have to freaking stay ahead of the game is just be as independent as possible. Like actually learn um, as many skills as possible. I know a bunch of skills, but then there's a bunch of other skills I don't know, especially with growing food. But I actually have a lot of freeze-dried food. But let me say that people that don't have any skills, I don't care if you have, um, you know, 30,000 ounces of silver or more, you're going to be in trouble. I'm telling you right now. That's why you don't want to be. It's not just a matter of looking at it like your personal financial planner and all this garbage, where to put your money. Like in other words, if somebody walked in the office and I was advising, this is why I don't like doing this shit anymore because in my mind, people would be people would ask me questions, and I had to stick with the freaking it's traditional stuff. But my back of my mind, if somebody had so much money, I'd be saying not just to put it in this account and this account, split it up through credit unions below $10,000, below $100,000, and this type of fund and index fund here or whatever, and cash here and all this. How much percentage of cash? I would be telling people in reality what I'd really like to tell people is, buy so many tools, buy a diesel generator, buy a simple transportation, buy things that don't require power, buy freeze-dried food, have water storage, a way to or well and operate a well without if the grid goes down, that kind of stuff. That's the way you really should financially plan. Um, most of the major media is out in la la land. It's like it's when it happens, right? I ain't worried about it right now. I don't dwell upon it, but I kind of enjoy doing things as with the outdoors type stuff and hands-on type stuff anyway. So I mean, it's not like I worry about it. I enjoy doing these things, but I also realize they have a twofold purpose. So like silver is not your only investment you want to do. I know they've been talking about silver's going to be. I've been hearing this crap. Silver's going to be over $100 an ounce by the end of 2016. Silver's going to be over $50 an ounce by June. I'm like, get the hell out of here. Now I'll tell you this though. The silver gold ratio has hit a lot of top resistance. 80 to 1 I think it is or something like that right now, and around there, 83 to 1, 83.02 to 1. That's about the limit. And when it comes down, the last time it hit like 20 something, whatever to 1, this next time it might go 15 to 1. So if gold is at, I don't know, $3,000 or something like that, maybe they'll put silver at $200. But I think it's going to take 2 or 3 years. And in the meantime, I think you're also going to have gasoline totally the opposite, like the stuff you use to drive around in and all the goods that are transported in. You're going to be up through the roof. And I think there's going to be other things going on with the Middle East blowing up and all this other type of stuff. There's a lot more I could discuss on here, but I think I went too far already because I'll probably just do it on another update later on. But, it's some of it I rehashed in here, but I got new listeners. But just, that's an axiom though. When oil prices go right through the roof, do expect oil, not also gold and silver to take off. Traditionally, that's when gold and silver took off, when oil goes through the roof really high. And when that happens, typically is when there's a major blow up in the Middle East. I know there's always wars going on in the Middle East, but there'll be a major blow up in the Middle East. And if the oil prices are really high under this current economic condition, we're going to have like a seriously Great Depression worse than the one in the 30s. All right? So that's why shiny silver coins are not going to cut it if you just only do that. Although I'm telling you a silver update, and theoretically I should be just telling you all about silver and all this kind of coin. And yes, the coins, the safer coins to get, as long as you get them close to spot, are the ones that are minted by a government. I don't care if it's U.S. government, European government, Australian government, um, Swiss government, Canadian government. It don't matter. Anything that is actually minted by government is safer to get, but you got to make sure you don't pay a big premium on that kind of crap. That's like an old rule too. But I'd rather be the guy if I had a choice between having 50,000 ounces of silver and I'm living in an apartment in some city, major city, someplace with 50,000 ounces of silver, or I'm out on a ranch or a farm someplace and I'm totally independent with a windmill and I got my own well and all this kind of crap and there's livestock and there's agricultural products growing. I got a tractor and I have no silver. I'd rather take the second one. I'd rather be living out on the farm. You see? That's why I'm being honest with you about this silver stuff, because it's if I just tell you silver, silver, silver all the time, that's just as screwed up as saying like what I had to do with before when I was working in the firm all the time, which I still do work there. I just don't want to work there all the time. you know, I'm still a trusted employee. What the hell, right? I am. I'm a trusted employee. But it's like I don't want to work there all the time. So anyway, that's uh, that's my update. A little bit of common sense, and like I said, with this silver update channel, whatever the hell it is, I intersperse it with a lot of different things. I want people to realize what true freedom is, and you know what the South fought for. you know, what the South fight for. Too many. We don't like all those taxes Abe Lincoln was throwing on us, right? Actually, I was up in, well, whatever. That was a while ago, so I wouldn't have been anywhere, right? But the government. Yeah, well, you talk nice to the government, but just realize this is what they want to do to you, man. Stick your throat here, right? And make sure you're freaking smart like a cat and be shrewd. So that's all I got to say. And not everybody from the baby boomer generation is screwed up because, a lot of people in the baby boomer generation fought in Vietnam. I guarantee you, almost none of those people are for Hillary Clinton. I almost guarantee you that shit. They're thinking they're getting shafted by the jackasses like the Clintons and the type of people that supported them way back then. And now they got the younger generation criticizing them because they're the baby boomer generation. It's like, you're between a rock and a hard place, you know what I mean? Typical bullshit, right? There you go.